Hello and welcome to the TeamVVV podcast for all your weekly racing game rambles. Alan couldn't actually be with us this week, so it's just me and Kevin.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin. Alan's away. He's probably, I don't know, playing Pokemon Go or something.
Yeah, last we heard he was about halfway to Russia, so
exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be here for next week, but we're not banking on it.
We'll try and draw him away from Pokemon Go. He's never going to let that down, is he? So I've actually got the opportunity to say now, do like and subscribe, as he's not here. There we go. I've said it.
It only took 7 episodes.
Exactly, yeah. Got it straight in there. We're done with that now. So, yeah, like and subscribe, please. It does help us out. Anyway, moving on. So, lots of activity on the site this week. We've got 2 really great competitions, actually. We've got 1 week left for the Thrustmaster TMX competition.
Yeah, so that runs out on the 31st of July, Sunday. You can still enter on Sunday, UK only, and we'll collect all the entries on the Monday and announce it, hopefully, on the evening of Monday the 1st, it will be, won't it, of August.
Yeah, right about then. Yeah, early next week. Sorry to all those that aren't in the UK. We've had a few people kind of grumble about that. Sorry about that. But if you have an Xbox One and you live in the UK, there's opportunity to win a Thrustmaster TMX. At the same time, we are also giving away a copy of Project Cars on Xbox One.
Yes, we are giving away the Xbox One goodies, aren't we?
Aren't we generous?
Yes.
So, 2 competitions. They both end this Sunday. All you have to do is follow our Twitter account and retweet the competition posts. Although we're making you work a little bit harder for the Thrustmaster one. You have to subscribe to our newsletter as well.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes about a minute of your time and you've got a pretty decent chance of winning. So it's definitely worth doing. So as soon as you finish listening to the podcast, take a minute out of your lives and you never know, you could end up with a Thrustmaster TMX wheel, which I wouldn't mind having myself, actually.
So there you have it. So on to the news.
Sadly.
Let's do some racing game news then.
Kick it off.
So first, I think this is the best news ever, personally. The original makers, he already knows what I'm doing. The original makers of Burnout are making a new driving game.
Yay!
Yes, yeah, we're quite big fans of Burnout. It has to be said.
Although my memory's a little bit fuzzy on the first 2, but certainly the third one, Takedown, and Paradise, of course.
Of course.
How could you not like Paradise?
Yeah, I mean, Burnout 3 did kind of put the series on the map, I think. It really, maybe thanks to EA, because obviously before then, EA weren't involved, so you didn't have all these annoying emo music soundtracks. It was a very different game.
I mean, looking back on Burnout 1 and 2, they look very basic now. It's surprising just how far we've come. We moan about graphics all the time. We moan about frame rate, Alan. And but we have come a long way in the genre. The racing genre is not typically leading the graphics, but it's interesting when you look back at something, because you feel you look back on something with like rose tinted glasses, and in your mind you've got this picture of a game that looks great, and then you go back and it's like, oh my goodness, it's a bit dodgy, But Burnout 3, fantastic game. Burnout Paradise, absolutely brilliant. So we're more than a bit excited about this new Burnout spiritual successor, which is supposed to be based off of Burnout 3.
You'll definitely like that then.
Yes. I mean,
by popular demand, to be honest, I think from what I remember, they asked people what game they'd like it to be based on the most, and Burnout 3 came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, they're not going to do a Burnout Paradise game because they're too small studio to do a massive open world game, as much as we'd like to see it.
That's right.
I mean, I would like probably to see Paradise over Burnout 3, but I'll take what I can get. I'm very happy for Freefields to be working on a Burnout-esque game, because there was a massive sort of gap in the market. And, with the recent release of Carmageddon Max Damage, it scratched that itch that I had for the sort of arcade races of yesteryear, the sort of simple, fun, unashamed fun games that don't take themselves too seriously. It doesn't have a realistic driving model, any of that. It just strips things back to the basics. You got your car, you got your crashes, and away you go.
See, I'm quite glad that they're not basing on Burnout Paradise. I do love Burnout Paradise, I should say, but
your number 3 is your favourite, is it?
It is. It's just the market's already flooded, I think, with open world driving games.
True enough.
I like the idea of going back to. I mean, Drive Club kind of did that in a way. It brought back the kind of point-to-point racer.
Yeah, it's true.
In a way.
I mean, Burnout 3 was fantastic because you know, the crash mode. I mean, how many hours did you spend on that? I mean, that was incredible.
Way too many. Well, the crash mode was introduced in Burnout 2 as well.
Was it 2?
It was 2.
Ah, see the foggy mind, you see. So it must have been 2 where I've spent. Maybe it was 2 where I spent the majority of my time then. 2 and 3, but probably more 2 with the introduction of the crash mode, because I remember spending an awful lot of time on that, and you know, that was crazy, hitting the buses and all that.
Have you played the first 2 then?
I've played them, but not a lot, not enough to speak about them too much, because no, I mean, I might have played them more than I think, because it's such a long time ago. You know, you're looking back.
The focus kind of changed a bit, because I think 1 and 2 were more about the racing in some respects, because obviously
that's true. Yeah, and 3 sort of really brought on the sort of less serious stuff.
I remember the sense of speed and danger was incredible at the time. There's no other game really like it back then.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So it was a tweet, wasn't it, from Alex Ward? He says, "Work has begun on a driving game."
Yeah, he's not revealing much, is he? There,
no, it never has such a mundane sentence conjured up so much excitement in VVV, you know. But yeah, we were very excited
for a while now. I think they first announced their intentions of doing that about half a year ago or so.
To me, that's not a lot of time. I'm surprised, because their previous title was Dangerous Golf, not long released, mixed reviews. But I'm surprised they're actually saying that they've actually, you know, begun work, because it's so soon after the release of Dangerous Golf. But you know, very much looking forward to seeing the first screens, first gameplay, little teasers here and there, which we'll cover, of course, on the website. We'll keep you up to date on that.
I wonder what they'll call it as well. Obviously, EA still own the right to the Burnout license, I believe, but they've just decided not to do anything with it.
What was the working title? Was it Red Car? Little Red Car?
Shiny Red Car.
Shiny Red Car, that was it.
I remember that.
Yeah. Maybe a play on that or something. Would be cool.
Yeah, because I remember there was some sort of hint towards that in a tweet they did ages ago about Shiny Red Car.
Yeah,
that's right. Burnout fanboys instantly got what they meant. Oh, it's coming back.
And you was one of those, yeah.
I think I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember replying to that. Please make it, please. And now they've answered our prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is one of, I mean, in terms of indie games coming up, I mean, this is way up there on my list. You know, this is probably #1, actually. That's how excited we are for it, you know.
It's exciting as well, because for such a small studio, I mean, the the physics in Dangerous Golf look pretty advanced. You do kind of wonder what would happen if they applied that to a damage model in a racing game. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not expecting a phenomenal damage model or anything, but
no,
you know, based off of Dangerous Golf,
that's what I mean.
You know, you get your hopes up, can't you, for decent physics, decent graphics, you know, collisions, you know, body parts maybe coming off the vehicles and all that good stuff. So who knows? It all depends on what they can. I mean, you know, you have to say that Dangerous Golf is a very basic title.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of very closed in space, isn't it? So they can go max on the details, reflections, and all that stuff.
Imagine the crash junctions if they go down that route again.
Oh, well, if it's based off Burnout 3, they've got to do it, haven't they? So I'm expecting some decent crashes.
It'll be a better game as well, because I hope it won't have any EA soundtracks in it.
You're not a fan, no.
No. But I think too, I mean, racing games at the moment, they're not really taking full advantage of the technology when it comes to damage modeling, apart from Wreckfest.
Yeah.
Which still doesn't have a final release, and we don't even know if it's coming to PS4 yet.
Yeah, Wreckfest is a strange one, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, we saw some, you know, decent damage in Carmageddon Max Damage, which you need really with the word damage in your title, you know. But it was surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting such a sort of complex damage model. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're definitely missing damage. I mean, I'd like to see GT Sport, for example, with a decent damage model. It's something that some games get right and some just can't seem to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously licensing has a lot to do with it when it comes to licensed cars. There's only so much they can do, I think, when it comes to you know, really really damaging the cars. I mean, Burnout gets away with it because they're not licensed.
That's true enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't. I think the thing is that they can't show a car that looks so damaged that the person inside will not be able to walk away.
On Burnout, I think they're all driverless cars, if I remember.
Yeah.
Probably because of that.
Yeah. So
I remember how incredible I think the damage was in Burnout Paradise. So, do you remember when it slowed the action right down? You could see the energy transferring through the bodywork.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I don't think, apart from Wreckfest, nothing's come close to that. And that came out 2008, was it? Something like that?
Yep. Early 2008 as well. So
yeah, it was like January or something like that. Was it the start of the year?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I can't believe it's been out that long. I mean, it's getting on for 10 years now. It's incredible.
I do wonder if anyone still plays it online. Like if you were to go on it now.
Yeah, that's true. I might just boot that up tomorrow and have a little play on that, because it's definitely an awesome game. And you could invest so many hours in it. There was so much to do, wasn't there? And
I don't think I ever completed that 100%. There was just too much to do.
It's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, very much looking forward. I might have to boot up the original Burnout for all time's sake this week as well.
Yeah. It does look a bit dated, though. I don't think time's been particularly kind to Burnout 1.
It's a very different game compared to how they've steered the series, I think. Rather EA did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been steered in the right direction, though.
Yeah.
And,
the soundtrack.
Yeah. Racing games are so serious nowadays, and everyone's, wants, the best physics and whatnot, and everyone's, so-and-so's got the best physics. No, this one has blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
It's like, can we just
fun?
Can we just have a fun title every now and again? Yeah.
Like we said last week, Armageddon, like it's the first game in a while that's really brought that back.
Yeah. I mean,
to a degree, and Trackmania as well.
Yeah, Trackmania that's a tough game. Max Damage, it wasn't very well received by reviewers though. So I imagine people just couldn't get on with the sort of the heavy handling of the cars. I mean, for me and you, we're used to that. We've played the earlier Carmageddon games, and that was part of the fun of Carmageddon. It was if it was so easy to make that spectacular crash into pedestrian, it wouldn't give you that bigger thrill. You have to sort of fight the handling model, and it's more fun. You can slide around, use your handbrake turns and stuff. It's
I'm still in two minds of it, to be honest. Like in some ways that is true, but on the other hand, you do kind of expect a game like that to have that requires a lot of precision driving in terms of ramming into opponents and ploughing into pedestrians to have a lighter handling model. So I think it does take a long time to get to grips with, but
yeah,
it is a game that you do need to kind of get to grips with and learn the handling model. And,
you sort of have to throw away everything
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to spend time. I mean, it's a long game, isn't it? To unlock all the cars and the upgrades.
I think that type of game usually has a kind of more pick up and play factor to it.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I think with this new Burnout title, I think that would be, the ultimate pick up and play title.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that. So we'll definitely keep tabs on that one.
Oh, yes.
So just obviously keep checking the TeamVVV news pages for that. So more news. Ride 2. We're back onto Ride 2 again after starting with it last week.
Yep.
It has a final release date of October. What was the date again, Kevin?
October 7th.
There we go, October 7th. Just in line with all the other bike racing games this year. Well done, Milestone.
Yeah. It's quite funny actually, because not one, not two, but 3 bike games in 8 days. So we've got Ride 2 coming out on the 7th. We have Motor Race on the 13th and Road Redemption on the 14th. Now, Road Redemption comes out on the PC first, and I believe it's January 2017. It will come out for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 platforms.
That's true, actually. Yeah, so it's more the PC market's going to be a bit more crowded on there, but still.
Yeah. So last week we was talking about the first proper gameplay trailer for Ride 2. It was the Supermoto bikes, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
I can't believe that was a week ago already. Amazing.
And the Button box art, don't forget.
Ah, yes, the one where I saw a face in, yeah. But I mean, this is a pre-order trailer, so it gives you a look at the goodies that you can get by pre-ordering. So we have the Suzuki Hayabusa and the Aprilia Chuono. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that.
I was kind of thinking, can he pronounce this? Will he pronounce it?
Chuono? Is it Chuono? We'll go with Chuono.
No idea.
P4 factory. Both bikes are from 2015, and they've also chucked in 10 helmets as well. So
the kind
pretty decent DLC.
Kind of typical pre-order bonuses, in other words, then.
Yeah. If you don't pre-order, you can actually get access to his content on day one. So it's a price point of €3.99. So I imagine it'd be about £3.99 or somewhere abouts. So still no news on the Nürburgring. I'm dying to see that in Ride 2 because for me that's the main.
They are kind of underselling that a bit.
Yeah, that which worries me actually because if they're not willing to show it off, you know, I mean, I'm not expecting a fantastic rendition of it, but you know, if it's half decent, it'll be a lot of fun because you don't get to you know, ride on Nürburgring with a bike very often. So
that's exactly, yeah. I mean, was the Nürburgring in Tourist Trophy?
Do you know what? I can't remember.
No, Alan. Oh, he's not here.
No, he's Pokemon going, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, I would guess it was simply because it was in Gran Turismo 4. So if that's the case, it's been round about 10 years since we were able to do that.
Yeah, amazing that it was in GT4, wasn't it? Looking back, and it was a very decent rendition of it as well. Looking back all that time ago, so that they can definitely do some things right, shall we say?
I wonder if Ride 2 will have a. You talk about the pre-order bonuses. I wonder if it'll have a £100 collector's edition like Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, maybe. But who knows? We'll see.
I'm curious about that one. You know, I looked on Amazon for that the other day. They have actually sold out. So some people actually bought it.
Yeah, it's the name, isn't it? It's see, that's the thing with Ride 2. It hasn't got the sort of brand attached to it. So
especially with
I'll
that
be surprised.
Imagine that on a Steelbook.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if there's going to be a collector's edition. Well, one that costs £100 at least.
I mean, at the time, that was the only milestone collector's edition they've ever done. So it'd be interesting to see if they ever do another one.
Yeah, who knows? So just to recap, Ride 2 then has 170 bikes. So 1950s up to the modern day. We haven't seen any of the early sort of vintage bikes yet, have we? So be interesting to see those. I'm always interested in the older sort of classic stuff. For me, that's especially cars. You know, older cars for me, you know, carry more character, and there's more, you know, obviously more history and stuff like that. So I'm always interested in sort of classic content. And hopefully,
basically aiming to be the Gran Turismo bike games again, trying to cover all bases.
Yeah, so they've got some new bike categories as well, along like got your 2-strokes and your super motors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of bikes, certainly. They've got some exclusive licensed tracks as well. So yeah, we look forward to that. I mean, we weren't initially massively impressed with what we saw last week, but like we said, it could be specific to the supermoto stuff. So
I think
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see. I want to see the tracks. I want to see a you know, a super bike on a track. Give me some vintage stuff as well.
Like we said before, at least I mean with Ride it was a solid foundation, but yeah, it just lacked a bit of polish. So I think if they do spend the time and resources onto it, it could be onto a winner. But again, they're overworking themselves so with just churning out so many different games at the moment. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I believe it's.
They need to tone down on that. It's been what 4 or 5 this year.
I think it's 5 if you include the Ducati sort of Ride spin-off.
Yeah.
So, and you never know, they might end up. It wouldn't surprise me if they announce another game before the year's end. So I'd like to see a Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo 2. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes, definitely, me too.
Like you say, with Ride, you know, they need to clean up the graphics. I guess
the engine sounds.
Yeah, the sounds need a lot of work.
The overall sense of speed was lacking. Like again, I think I said before, but like when I play a bike game by Milestone, it's where I feel excited somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a lot of fun out of Ride, but
maybe if it was 60
again, the loading times. Yeah,
that would help.
Where's Alan? Yeah. if Alan was here now, that would be a 10-minute conversation about frame rate. But
yeah, just write the game off. It's 60 frames and nothing.
Yeah, no, you don't need to have. Sorry, go on. Yeah,
I was going to say, in fairness to Milestone, they are learning from the mistakes. I mean, at least we are actually seeing gameplay at this stage. if it was the original game, we wouldn't see it until a few weeks before release. We just get some really naff videos looking at the bike models close up.
Yeah, I was a little bit fearful when the initial Ride 2 so-called trailer was like it was basically like a glorified logo video, and I was thinking, oh, are they going to do the same again? You know,
it's like something where you can really predict their marketing strategies.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to reveal another class of bike next week, and then we'll get a video looking at the models. And for a long time, it was very much rinse and repeat, I think.
And it is so typical that they're releasing it so close to other games. I mean,
why do that again?
I guess this time around they've not released it near a huge game, as far as I know.
At least it's not. I mean, we kind of joked before that it would.
They kind of have.
What's that?
It's it's about just over a week after Forza Horizon 3. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Not great.
Well, so we were wrong though. We did say before that it would be released alongside GT Sport.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Horizon 3 is a pretty big contender.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be the game of the year, I think, in terms of overall package.
Yeah, which leads us on very nicely to some more car reveals actually for Forza Horizon 3.
Yep.
A very kind of Australian theme going on here, as you'd expect for the location.
That's right. We got sort of 3 legendary Aussie cars from the. We've got a 1950s. Oh, actually, are they all Holdens, I believe. Yeah, I think they're all Holdens. So we've got 1950s, 1970s, and we've got an example of the GTS Maloo, which is of this year. Yeah, so good variety.
Ooh, Ferrari Dino, yes, please.
I do like the Dino, yeah. So looking through, we've got. It's another nice mix, isn't it? But
it's just typical Forza, to be honest. It's
not as eclectic as before, but then again, there was 150 cars revealed that time, whereas here we've got probably 35, something like that.
Of course, we had to put the Viper SRT because that was obviously the first Horizon car. Is that the 2008 model? So that's based on the original one, I believe.
Got the Bugatti EB110, which is pretty cool.
You don't see that in many racing games.
No, you don't. No,
quite rare actually, that one.
And sort of back then, the early 90s, you know, it was you might get a year or two between supercars. You know, back then supercars were few and far between. They were very special.
I was going to say just that it makes them more special, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I mean, that Bugatti was incredible at its time. I think it done well over 200 miles per hour. You know, very much a predecessor to the modern Veyron. You know, that sort of set the
it defines that era as well.
Yeah, and of course we had the McLaren F1 a couple of years later, I believe.
Yeah, and the Jag XJ220.
Yeah, another legendary one. Yeah, but nowadays it's like supercars are 10 a penny, so you don't. You know, it's very easy for especially someone of my age to. You get confused, like you've got all these Lamborghinis you've got to keep up with, and you know you're not quite sure. They look very, very similar looking, and it's very hard to actually keep tabs on supercars these days because there's so many out.
Ferrari FF, probably not my first choice.
No,
I actually saw one of those for the first time ever in person, just driving around town.
Oh wow, that's a rare sight.
Yeah, it didn't really.
It's a good mix, like a good mix of classics like from the 70s and.
True.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff there.
I'll say that much in design.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Ooh, you talked about legendary 90s car. There we go. Lamborghini Diablo.
Yes. That was the successor to the Countach, wasn't it?
It was.
Lovely, lovely stuff. They don't really make them like they used to, do they? Back then, they were sort of they were very dangerous.
That's it. Forza always gets it right when it comes to car lists. I mean, at least it's not dozens and dozens of Nissan Skylines.
True. So we've had about, 180, 190 cars altogether now from the about 370.
Yep.
They'll be revealing more every week, I imagine, because this seems to be a weekly car reveal. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks all the different...
They normally do, I think, in fairness. They always release new cars every week. I remember on I think it was Forza 4 or 5, we had posts every week about 10 cars in it.
Yeah, it gets smaller and smaller, doesn't it? By the end, you might get like 1 or 2 cars. No. But, it'd be good to see all the other stuff because they're going to be holding back some of the special stuff.
Yeah, exactly. hasn't been that many surprises so far.
No, true. Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, they are probably.
Let's hope they're holding back some really special stuff. Yeah.
Like Alan said before, I want to see more of the off-road stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of replays to its strengths, just the diversity of the environment.
I want to see a car that can go in water. So it's like half car, half boat.
Well, you never know. Forza have the Top Gear license. Could see the amphibious pickups.
Yeah, that's true.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, it could be there. I mean, you're allowed to go in the water apparently, but there's only a certain level of depth you can go to before you sort of die, I guess, or respawn. So yeah, they're letting you more and more. They're sort of opening the boundaries. So who knows? Forza Horizon 10, you know, you could end up in a submersible or something. So a plane, you know, don't rule it out. Yeah, it will happen. Trust me. Probably. Planes, everything.
Yeah, can you tell we're very excited about Forza Horizon 3?
Yes.
we can't really hide it.
Yeah, it looks very good.
We've also recently revealed as well was the Forza Horizon 3 Ultimate Edition, which, as with most collector's edition, includes a Steelbook.
Yes.
And I must say, it looks pretty stunning.
It does.
We've got a photo of it on the website, or well, we will do very shortly. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite a sucker for Steelbooks, I must admit. I don't know if you are, Kevin, but
not a sucker, no, but I can definitely see the appeal of them. You know, I guess once you get one, that's it. You're on your way, aren't you? Because you have your Steelbook looking all nice and shiny, and then you've got your standard game next to it, and it just looks crap. So you end up getting more and more Steelbooks.
I think when you're a fan of a series, it does add something to it, though.
Yeah, it's definitely special.
Special, but
yeah,
that's the thing. Though, to be honest, the Forza Steelbooks have been not so special normally.
Okay.
I think there's been one for every game since, I don't know, the 4, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just been a really lazy logo Steelbook.
Ah, yes.
Which is disappointing. Actually, no, Horizon 2, there was no Steelbook for that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's surprising, actually, because it's such a big franchise. Yeah.
I don't think there's any kind of special edition for it at all.
I mean, the Forza Horizon 3 Steelbook, it leaves sort of... you know, it leaves no doubt that this is an arcade game because you've got like this Centenario Lamborghini sort of on the beach and sort of half in water, sort of going along. And you know, if it was a real Lamborghini, of course you'd be stuck, or you know, you probably, well, you know, you'd break the car probably in no time. But you know, with Forza Horizon 3, you know, it's very much an arcade game, and you know, you'd be racing your Lamborghinis on the beach at breakneck speeds, 100 plus, probably 200. And it's also got a picture of a Ford off-roader. I'm not quite sure. Is that a Raptor? I'm not sure. Oh, it is a Raptor, I think. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
and it's doing a lovely big jump. So you know, it's a cool Steelbook because it's showing you the real sort of arcade elements to the title. It's sort of it's Forza Horizon. Effort. Yeah, it looks good. It's Forza Horizon 3 in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah, they actually put some effort into the artwork as well, which is rare.
Yeah, it does look pretty stunning.
So I believe in the UK at least it's exclusively available in game.
Okay.
They tend to have the exclusives when it comes to collector's editions, but not so attractive is the price tag. Do you want to guess how much it is? It's like Valentino Rossi again.
Well, £65.
Close.
Okay.
$79.99.
Really? Ah.
Yeah, you do get some extras in fairness.
Okay, what do you get?
Yeah, you get the game, obviously, the disc. Actually, that's actually part of the features. It just says the full game of Forza Horizon 3 in brackets disc.
Ah, okay.
Good to know, that's reassuring.
Oh, you get the VIP membership and the car pass. Yeah,
you get 4 days early access to the game.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
limited edition Forza Horizon Steel tin. Yeah, we know that. Forza Horizon 3 car pass. VIP membership, and a Forza Horizon Motorsport All-Stars car pack.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Quite a few additions, but we are talking twice the price of the regular game thereabouts.
For that, you want something like you can hold like a little die-cast model, or you know, something a little bit special.
You beat me to it. I was going to say I saved the best to last. You do actually get just that with it as well.
Oh, do you?
You do. You get a so not only do you get digital cards, you get an actual physical 1/43 scale model of the Lamborghini Centenario.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's not bad.
I can't complain.
I'd have that.
Yeah.
Maybe not actually. I never paid that much, but I think that's a pre-order bonus though, so you only get that if you pre-order it.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That kind of adds something to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up from previous Forza collector's editions, though. I mean, there's others that just came in like a big box and gave you a USB memory stick, for example.
Yeah, little odds and sods that you get with these things. Yeah, they seem to
That's
be
it.
getting more expensive, but more substantial.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, whilst we're on the subject of Steelbooks, there was another one I found just this week. They haven't really promoted it very much, and I can see why, because it looks completely unimaginative, to say the least.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's the F1 2016 Steelbook.
It is indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So for those,
compare it to Forza Horizon 3.
yeah, it's the opposite end of the scale. It's basically grey. It's almost like 50 Shades of Grey, and it's got the F1 2016 logo, and that's it.
That's literally it.
That might be like a close up of someone's butt or something. I'm not quite sure, but there's detail in the shading, but there's no pictures of cars or drivers or any of that.
It's amazing, really, because they've made even less effort than they did with last year's Steelbook. Because that was just literally a scribble of an F1 car on the front.
Yeah, and that was bad enough. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like, I'm all for minimalism, but that took it a bit too far.
Yeah, it doesn't have that special. You know, you want to feel that you've got something special. Yeah, absolutely. It's just boring, isn't it? It's like if you have that on your shelf, it's like.
It's just odd that it's less. In this case, the F1 Steelbooks are less appealing than the main box art, which.
That's true. Yeah. The main box art looks an awful lot better.
Although it is still a carbon copy of last year's.
Yeah, with those drivers staring into your soul. Give me your soul.
Exactly. Yeah.
Although, in fairness, Ricardo is smiling, and I think Vettel's got hot.
That is hard. That's hard to achieve normally.
Yeah, the Vettel one, not the other one, because the other one's always smiling, isn't it? Ricardo.
Yeah. So speaking of F1 2016, we had a comparison video looking at F1 2015 alongside F1 2016. Quite, would you say, marginal improvements there?
It's a tough one. I mean, I think some things 2016 does better, some things 2015 does better. The sun glare, which we don't see on this comparison, but the sort of sun flare effects on 2016 are pretty poor. They're actually worse than 2015, and they look pretty bad on 2015 to start with. Yeah. And I think, I mean, all of the content we've seen so far for 2016, it all looks a little bit dull. They're showing off the time of day editor in recent sort of videos, but you can understand what they're doing. They're showing off the features, but it comes across a little bit dull. And here we see most recent video with Hungaroring. They're showing the wet weather effects, which fair enough, but also it's looking dull because it's total cloud cover, and it's sort of when you look at the car, it sort of negates any reflections, so it just looks very dull, very flat, and it makes 2015 look better. Another thing with 2016, the sort of water droplets on the screen are pretty different to 2015. 2015, you had loads of little droplets, and it was almost like it looked like they were coming down the screen, but it was almost like a camera was sort of moving its sort of lens to sort of wipe the screen sort of clear, if you like. Whereas in 2016, you've got these big sort of droplets, and they fall in a realistic manner, but they do look a little bit big, a little bit clumsy. So they've probably had to compromise on some areas visually.
Game this time, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good trade-off because I'd much rather have more game than pretty visuals.
I'd rather have a complete game.
Yeah, a normal complete game. Yeah, yeah. I mean, 2015. I mean, rightfully so. It got pretty heavy abuse because it didn't have a career mode, and that was the heart and soul of the game. Since F1 2010. It was all about the career mode, and to have that missing was incredible, very surprising. But to see it back in 2016 is good, expected, of course. And honestly, I think this could be the best title we've seen from Codemasters for Formula One. So it seems like they've been listening to fans, getting feedback, getting people in the studio, you know, just working with F1 fans just to get all these features in, like the formation laps, manual starts, and all that. But I guess you could argue, you know, these features are not really gameplay features as such. They're not fundamental gameplay features. You know, how much have they actually improved the physics, things like that? So we just have to wait and see on that one. I mean, there is signs of improvements. We've seen like the wheels locking up under braking, things like that. So, you know, there is little signs here and there that they've improved. But I guess we'll just have to wait until we get our hands on it and we can test it side by side with 2015 and make our own judgments.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, none of us have actually played it yet to actually make an informed judgment on the physics.
Yeah, and we haven't got long to wait now, have we? It's
no, it's out in about 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, so looking forward to that one. Are you a big F1 fan, Martin?
Not massively, to be honest. I haven't watched it for a few years. It's just become so dull.
You know, I mean, yeah.
I like races that cars overtake.
Yeah.
I used to be quite an avid fan in the kind of, I don't know, late 90s, early noughties, but yeah, in terms of motorsport, I must admit I'm more of a touring car fan personally.
Yeah. I've sort of done it the other way around. I watched touring cars years and years ago, and now I sort of just watch F1.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
But again, touring cars has so much less exposure now than it used to. It's a shame, really.
It's a shame, yeah. I mean, because it's going to be unlikely we're going to see another touring car game.
At least not a standalone game, anyway, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a few games that have had licensed British touring car cars in it.
Yeah.
Was it Race Room?
Race Room has it, yeah, that's right.
It, yeah.
They bring out pack every year, I believe.
I think it had a Honda touring car and a few others like that.
Yeah, Cadillac, I believe, and something else. Yeah, I mean, there is stuff out there, but it's pretty niche, isn't it? Like you say, it's going to be an expansion.
It's not a game anymore. It just doesn't have the following it used to, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's quite sad, really.
I have to say, I mean, Tonka Touring Cars, the original one, was one of the first racing games I ever played.
And it had weather, didn't it? It had rain, I believe.
It did. It had, at the time, I was just shocked to see a racing game that had functioning brake lights.
Had big grids as well. That game was tough, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't a game you could just pick up and play. That you had to learn every circuit and, you know, get your braking points right. I mean, that game was tremendous for the time.
It was really on PlayStation, one of the first serious racing games, I'd argue.
Yeah,
it came before Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I'd love to see a modern day equivalent, but
it had damage, it had cockpit views, it had a lot of things that racing games now don't have.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's I mean, God, this was the argument with Gran Turismo. You know, why did they add those silhouette cockpits when they could have had like a basic sort of outline cockpit, much like you would get in a game like Tonka? Like you have a basic grey, and Colin McRae Rally was another one. You had this sort of very basic cockpit view. I mean, they could have had something like that into Gran Turismo 5 and 6. Obviously, much higher res, of course, but it would have been nice instead of just having those horrible black silhouettes. It's like we're going backwards all these years later. Incredible.
I know. I said again, full damage modelling as well. I mean, it probably looks quite primitive now, in fairness, but
at the time, it was good, wasn't it?
I spent many hours deliberately driving the wrong way around the track.
Yeah.
I hope it's not just me.
No. When you've got something like that, you know, when you see something like that for the first time, you're going to be sort of playing around with it because it's so novel. It's new, isn't it? And you sort of.
Well, I say it was one of the first 3D racing games I ever played at the time.
What happens if I drive backwards? You know, everyone does it. You're not alone. Don't worry.
There we are. Right. So, I mean, we've had a few new releases this week as well.
Yeah.
Starting with Obliteracers.
Yeah.
It's kind of party racer on PS4.
Yeah, it's almost like a modern day sort of micro machines, I would say, where you sort of race people out of the screen. And so the PlayStation 4 version has been released. We've got the Xbox One to follow next month at some point, although no release date has been stated. So this launched back, I think it was in January or February on the PC. And they had this feature where you could play up to 16 players and local co-op, and you could actually use like mobile phones as controllers. And I think you could share the controllers as well. And there's all this craziness going on with it. 16 players. I mean, can you imagine 16 players in one single screen? Chaos.
No, it sounds again. It's more the kind of pick up and play fun party racer the genre kind of needs at the moment. It's good to see it make such a comeback.
Yeah, in many ways, I guess it's similar to the Death Race mode in Blaze Rush, and that was an awful
remind me
lot
of
of
that
fun.
game a bit, actually. Yeah, looking
Yeah.
at it, it has, it's top down kind of racer like that.
I mean, I love the art style of Obliteracers. It's got its own sort of stuff
unique.
going on. Yeah, sort of intergalactic stuff with these really sort of like there's a classic looking taxi here with all these sort of hover contraptions bolted onto it, and lots of character. Even the characters themselves look fantastic. There's a lot of love has gone into the art style and all the drawings and all the art. It looks
yeah,
decent.
I think it's a good point because we have so many kind of micro racing games with just standard toy cars, like it's tabletop racing and super toy cars. Just these kind of, I don't want to say generic because the cars in tabletop racing World Tour are really well modeled, but they are they are just bog standard mini cars. Whereas in this,
yeah, exactly. They're based off of real world cars, and sometimes sometimes you want them just to go original and just come up with something crazy and yeah.
That's where it's due. Then the car models in tabletop racing World Tour are fantastic. I think they listed someone who works on Forza Horizon. They're that good.
I mean, to me, it almost looks like a mini Need for Speed car model.
Yeah,
fantastic. The liveries are fantastic on that.
I did an interview with Nick, the main developer, a while back. I still need to get that up, actually. He just basically described like the sheer amount of detail put into the cars, and it was really surprising for such a small indie title. Like they really went out of the way to make the cars look like real licensed cars, but like with very subtle design changes.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting.
It's interesting because a lot of people say when they see like a car that's based off a real life car, people will say, "Oh, you're going to get in trouble. It's too close to the car." But yeah, the tabletop racing is so close to the real thing. I'm so surprised.
They actually modelled licensed cars, like they knew exactly what they were doing.
Surprised they didn't get in trouble for it. It's so close.
I know, but
you got to love the names that they were given as well.
Yeah, braking's bad.
Yeah,
that one kind of sticks out.
Yeah.
We will do some more coverage on that at some point. Really underrated game, I think, of this year.
Yeah, definitely.
I would go as far as to say one of my surprises of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, to me, it's probably one of the most fun titles released.
Let's say that and Trackmania for me are probably like the biggest surprises of the year.
You're a pretty big Trackmania fan. To me, that game is a little bit like pull my hair out, frustrating, but yeah.
It is a bit, yeah. I've had many controller casualties because of that game.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I think I played too much of Trials back in the day.
Okay. Do you know what? I actually have Trials Fusion on my PS4 hard drive, and I didn't realise it.
Really?
So I'm doing the review currently for Blood Dragon, Trials of the Blood Dragon, so I can actually go back to Fusion and play them side by side to get a good
Fusion and then not know about it.
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? It's there though, and I'm going to play it, so it'd be interesting to see how it sort of stacks up.
Yeah, you haven't played it yet, then Fusion?
No, not yet. It's all new to me, the Trials games. I tend to stay away from these sort of, I want to say, sort of puzzle type races where there's a lot of trial and error because it does frustrate me a little bit.
Yeah, you need a lot of patience.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun with Trials of the Blood Dragon, certainly.
Yeah,
and looking forward to getting onto Fusion as well.
Yeah, no, I played Fusion at the time. I did quite enjoy it. I think I reviewed it at the time. Actually, I gave it a 7. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 at the time.
Yeah, so that's pretty good for you, isn't it?
Yeah, quite harsh, I must say.
That's good to be harsh.
It was good, but the futuristic setting didn't really appeal to me compared to Trials. Oh God, what was the last one called? How have I forgotten?
There's quite a few, isn't there?
Evolution, that was it.
Evolution, yes, that's it.
That to me was the pinnacle of the series.
Yeah. So along with Obliteracers, we have another new release which came out yesterday.
It's not cars though. No cars in this one.
No. And it is Riptide GP Renegade, which is the sequel to Riptide GP2.
Which I keep getting mixed up with that other water racing game.
Yeah, the other one's Aquamoto Racing Utopia.
Well remembered.
Yeah, it's all in here. So it came out for the PS4 and PC, with the Xbox One to follow at a later date. That seems to be a bit of a trend lately, doesn't it? You have to.
Interesting, yeah. Because we had, for example, was MX versus ATV Supercross on Core 1 year later.
1 year, yeah, that was a long time. It just seems to be a much harder platform to develop for, doesn't it? The Xbox One,
or at least to get the games optimized, because we still get it. We still get it now, where some games have a lower frame rate or resolution on Xbox One than they do on PS4.
Yeah, I mean, Project Cars on the Xbox One is not phenomenal compared to PS4.
No,
so it's a shame. I mean, but Microsoft will come back swinging with a new console.
Yeah,
with the Scorpio. So it'd be interesting to see how much they can push the graphics on that.
Yeah, that does remain to be seen. It's still kind of shrouded in secrecy for now.
So yeah, Riptide. It looks a lot of fun. I mean, it's not a series that I've played before. I don't think. I might have played a demo years ago. I think the series dates back quite far, doesn't it? And they've had a lot of mobile releases and things like that. Yeah, very hard to keep track of all these Riptide games. But it's basically a futuristic setting. You run away from cops. You do these jumps and you do tricks mid-air. So it looks a lot of fun. The speed is good as well. They've got your 8-player online multiplayer. Not a huge amount of players, but still, it's.
Did you say it has cop chases in it?
Yeah, you outrun cops apparently. So cop chases. I imagine the cops will be on the whatever they call them, watercraft. They're referred to as rocket-powered watercraft.
There we go.
So yeah, I imagine the police will have equally powered or perhaps more powered rocket-powered watercrafts to chase you down. So yeah, who knew that the police were doing that? There you go.
Yeah, I mean, water racing games not a genre I've had huge experience with, I must admit.
It's just an old style. It's very arcadey. Yeah, very 90s arcade sort of style. Wave race. It came to the Nintendo 64 years and years ago. You don't get many titles. They're very few and far between. But
the PlayStation rather than an N64. The only kind of boat racing game that springs to mind on that is Rapid Racer. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it? I think.
It's another one of those games where I never owned it, but I played the demo a lot.
Yeah.
A bit like Roll Cage.
Yeah. I think it's because we used to buy the PlayStation official magazine. You get all the demos, don't you?
I've still got my complete collection beside me right now.
Yeah, I threw all mine, so unfortunately, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Those demos are like the highlight of my month.
Yeah, I used to love going to the shops with £5 in my pocket and seeing what demos would come next. Yeah, it was good times. It's not like that anymore. Of course, we got the internet. Back then you had to wait a month basically to find out about all the latest titles, and you had that sort of magic to it. That's why I still enjoy reading the magazines. But I still buy them every month for really? PlayStation ones. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
It's quite funny because at one point they did actually introduce demo discs as well.
Ah.
I didn't realise it was completely pointless because it's just the same demos you can get on PSN.
Ah, yeah. Oh, there you go. I imagine the circulation is probably pretty low these days, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know, to be honest, but let's just say they haven't reduced the price.
Ah, okay.
It's even more now, I think. It's like £5.49.
Oh, okay, that's odd price.
So yeah, I'm surprised to hear there's police chases in Riptide, I must admit, going back onto that.
Yeah, it seems like I guess they just sort of threw it in there. I mean, it seems crazy enough as it is, but then you got the cops on there as well. So
I guess it puts a different spin on the genre compared to whatever the other one was called, Aqua something.
Yeah, Aqua Motor Racer. Yeah, it's very much a sort of wave race style. You just got your ramps and you do your tricks and that, but it's more sort of basic, I guess. More
for fans of the sport, maybe.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I don't want to say more realistic though, because
I was going to say that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I guess it's more grounded.
Yeah.
Than Riptide, which is just bonkers, basically.
Actually, thinking about it, the last water racing game I ever played technically was the abysmal Driver Speedboat Paradise.
Oh, why did they have to do that? Why did a new driver game have to feature a speedboat on a mobile platform?
I'm a massive driver fan, so that to me was
Yeah.
just completely blasphemous. They should not have done that.
It was. And Driver San Francisco 2011, was it?
Something like It's
So we've had a few years now. Dying to get a new. I mean, that was off the wall bonkers. We're saying Riptide is bonkers, but that was on a different level. That was.
Oh yes.
The most interesting storyline ever to feature in a racing game.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, you just sort of went with it though. You know, it was crazy, but you just went with it because it was so much fun. It was to me, it was almost the perfect arcade racer. It's right up there with the best ever, in my opinion.
So glad to hear you say that, because I'm forever telling people, play Driver. It's such an underrated series.
Yeah, and it looked fantastic. We had all the people on the side of the road, all the traffic. I mean, it's amazing what they've done. You know, the sounds weren't particularly great, but still, visually and technically, you know, phenomenal work.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of the original as well. Yeah, I played that, and at the time, the equivalent was the top-down GTA.
Yeah, I remember
so ahead of its time.
Yeah, I remember all that. That's quite fresh in my memory still, because I put so much time into them.
So, did you ever complete the first car park level
on Driver?
The first Driver.
Car park level, yes, that was the training, wasn't it? We have to do the handbrake turns and all that. Yeah. It was tough, wasn't it? It was really tough.
I know some people that never actually completed the game because they couldn't get past that first level.
Yeah, it did require a bit of finesse, and you go through the slalom, don't you? And you try to avoid the parked cars.
Yeah,
but
about throwing you in the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. I think Driver 1 was my first experience with a racing wheel. It was very.
You play that with a racing wheel. I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah, and back then, you know, I felt like I was driving a real car because back then, I mean, it looks terrible now, of course. I mean, the pop-up was, I think actually number 2 was worse for pop-up than 1. I'm not sure. It looked horrendous there. And all the jaggies.
Supported wheels, because that's not a game that suits wheels to me. The handling's so erratic. It's all about sliding the car and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you held direction too long, it's almost like it was putting on the handbrake, wasn't it?
Mm.
But did you ever mess about with the TV camera, the editor, and all that?
Hours and hours. I mean, I'm a massive movie fan.
Yeah.
I'll watch any film that has a car chase in it, basically.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking forward to Jason Bourne coming out this week, actually.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, I mean, Driver 2. I mean, the series really went. The series got a bit wrote itself off basically after Driver. I think, unfortunately, with Driver 2. Good game, but it really pushed the system too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if Alan was here, he'd probably rant for an eternity about how shocking the frame rate was. But even I'll say the frame rate was bad on that game.
Yeah, it was. It was
a stuttery mess, unfortunately.
Yeah. Can't argue there.
And well, let's not talk about the animations when you actually got out of the car.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, Tanner. I mean, I remember the scale. Even the scale was wrong. Like Tanner was like really short compared to all the pedestrians. You had like these giant pedestrians walking past you.
Yeah, was it number 2? You could get out of the car, wasn't it?
That was the first one where you can get out of the car.
Yeah, yeah. It was a bit odd, wasn't it? And back then you had these sort of tank controls, and it was really awkward to move.
But credit where it's due. It came out before GTA 3 let you do that.
Yeah, GTA 3 was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal at the time.
But yeah, it was very ambitious though for its time.
Yeah.
And then of course you had Drifria, which basically killed the series. Drifria, as I call it, because they spelled it with a bloody free.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I refused to call it Driver Free. It's Drifria. But I felt like at the time I was the only person that enjoyed that game.
Oh, okay.
Just for the driving.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
It was okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see a new title, certainly. Should we move on?
Yes, let's move on. What else have we got? I mean, you've been playing a lot of Dirt Rally, I see. Then we've got your Finland video. Obviously, no rally games complete without Finland stages. Yeah.
I mean, Dirt Rally to me is my game of the year so far.
Really?
I mean, I love Sebastian Loeb Evo as well, but for me, Dirt Rally is it just gives you that more thrill.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's harder, because honestly I think Sebastian Loeb is probably harder. I think it simulates braking better, whereas in Dirt Rally you can really sort of stamp on the brakes. If you do that in Sebastian, you just lock up the car and go off the course, basically, which is how it really should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of people do say that Dirt Rally is like, oh, it's the dark souls of games, and
yeah,
it's challenging, but I do agree with you. Actually, it's slightly more forgiving, I think, than Sebastian Loeb,
particularly on tarmac. Even wet tarmac, it's pretty forgiving, yeah. But I mean, you know, you're never going to get a perfect game, of course.
No, in terms of playability, though, would you say it's more balanced, more fun?
Yeah, I'd say it's more fun.
Gets the balance better, maybe between realism.
I think that the balance is a good way of describing it. You feel more. It's more predictable, I guess. It feels more realistic in the game world. It is what it's trying to represent. You know, it's not out and out sim, but it's good enough a sim. It's you know what it's going to do. It's sort of believable in the game world, and it's good to play. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
It's driving. Last week I did. I think it was last week. Now I did a run through the Welsh sort of forest.
Oh yeah.
And that really tough. I mean, unbelievably tough. You've got all these trees that are sort of blocking out the sunlight. All the shadows cast on the tracks. It makes it harder to see. Very narrow, lots of bumps. So, you know, you rarely putting your foot on the accelerator full because you just daren't do it because you end up in the nearest tree, basically. So you're tapping the accelerator and you...
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of Sebastian Loeb, though. So many times where I'd literally get stuck in the scenery, and for once there wasn't a glitch in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question. Do you left foot brake?
Do I left foot brake?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
I don't.
Okay, interesting.
Because I like to play a game as if I was driving in real life. So I actually use my right foot. And more and more I'm hearing people left foot braking, and it's almost like normal. And also you see people with like, they take their shoes off, and I don't like that. I have a pair of shoes on because to me it feels more realistic.
So you don't drive. You wear a racing helmet and racing gloves as well.
No, I don't actually, but who knows? I might get to that stage. I think it'll start with gloves, and then we'll work up to maybe a helmet, and then.
Well, it's all about getting into character.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe some future over-the-shoulder shots. You'll see me in a helmet.
So I think Paul Coleman, the designer of Dirt Rally, he'd be proud of you for doing that because they went to such lengths to make Dirt Rally as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
Like they even recorded because he did all the co-driver commands.
Ah, yes.
And he actually wore a crash helmet, and they actually put him in a D box, so he was shaking about whilst reading the instructions just to make it that little bit more authentic.
And it's a lot better.
That devotion.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at WRC5, it's very robotic, very.
I did criticize that quite a lot in my review.
Yeah, and you know when you sort of crash and you get a negative comment from your co-driver in WRC5, and then you sort of lose.
Something he'd say, I can't remember what it was now. He made this comment over and over again whenever I remember that was dodgy.
Yeah, and then you lose the next 3 turns worth of calls, so you have to sort of drive by the seat of your pants because the audio sort of cuts in and it cuts out the normal calls. So it was, it could have been handled better. But yeah, Dirt Rally certainly has really good co-driver calls, definitely.
Yeah, Sebastian Loeb wasn't that great either. Better than WRC5, but Dirt Rally's the winner though.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle with Sebastian.
Yeah. So elsewhere, you've been playing Project Cars Game of the Year edition as well. Then I see.
Yep. So I've been giving that a test on the Xbox One using the controller.
So I'm interested. Did you play Project Cars when it first came out last year?
Yeah.
So you played it when it was just completely bug ridden and broken.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't coming across so many problems as a lot of people were. So I
had so many races where like my right tire would just spontaneously break.
Really, I did have the my T300 would cut out.
I had that as well. Yeah,
that was as bad as it got, and I think I had a really dodgy crash once or twice, where it's like you crash as if you were going like 1,000 miles per hour into a sort of invisible wall, and it would make an absolute mangle. Your car would be absolutely mangled, almost Wreckfest style. Yeah. So there was 1 or 2, but I didn't experience as much as a lot of people were. So
yeah. It's interesting they're kind of proclaiming it as Game of the Year. I think a lot of people probably argue against that.
Yeah, I mean it's lost its sort of the Game of the Year title has lost its magic
Forza did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Project Cars, tons of DLC. The Game of the Year edition is a fantastic package because you've got all that DLC, you've got car packs, you've got track packs, countless stuff. And I've recently done an overview video looking at some of the content. I had to split it into 2 parts. We'll have the second part coming hopefully soon because there's just so much there. So if you haven't got the Project Cars game, the Game of the Year edition is a fantastic purchase, I think.
It's kind of annoying though for original owners sometimes when like just a year down the line they re-released it with the same content, with extra content, for the same price.
Actually, yeah.
Obviously, we get why they don't. They want to attract new players. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think you can buy the content separately if you already own Project Cars. It's like a Game of the Year upgrade, so to speak. So it's there for those that want to do that.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to drum up interest as well whilst they work on Project Cars 2, since there's not going to be any more. There's not going to be any new DLC anymore for the original game. Yeah,
it's all going to go quiet now, isn't it? Much like Drive Club, sadly, it's gone all quiet. So yeah,
I do wonder when they're going to announce the sequel. Well, they have already announced it. We know what happened there, though.
Yeah,
you're ripping us off. No,
it was announced too early, wasn't it? Project Cars 2.
Way too early.
Yeah,
I do understand why they did it, but they should have waited at least a few more months, I think.
Because there has to be. You can't have so long between announcing to when you're showing off content. If that's too big a gap, people are going to get impatient. They're going to turn off the game. They're going to move on to something else. Yeah,
I think a lot of people did feel cheated a bit when they announced the sequel so soon after the original. But I guess you have to bear in mind that it is a very different style of development, as it is obviously crowdfunded.
Yeah, you do have to take that into account, certainly.
Yeah, but we'll see what comes of that. I mean, there's so much potential for that, the sequel.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that.
Looking forward to the rally section as well. We can't get enough of rally games at the moment.
It's like 3 rally games this year, and who knows for next year? I mean, looking forward to WRCC too. Yeah, it's a good year. It's a good year for rally games, but probably a better year for bike games.
Yeah, and hopefully, so we got enough sim games as it is this year, so it's a nice balance this year actually. Yeah,
it's nice to see a few more arcade races. We've we've got stuff coming out in October. Motor Racer 4, Road Redemptions we've already discussed, and Aqua Motor Racing, Utopia's on early access, and Riptide, of course. So.
And we've got futuristic racing games as well. In fact, Formula Fusion, we've had the update just come out for that.
Yeah.
I've not tried it yet, although I'm slightly afraid to because my PC probably won't be able to handle it.
Yeah. Alan did a video, didn't he? Today, I believe it was.
Yeah, his PC can just handle it like that. What a surprise.
I was surprised, actually, how often he was hitting the rails on the side.
That's what you do in Wipeout.
You're not supposed to do it. Air brakes before, but it does look like a really tough game.
It is. It really is. But I guess that was one of the main appeals of Wipeout. It is a very challenging series, and they seem to be going in that direction again.
Yeah, I mean, with Wipeout, you start off with a sort of all-rounder craft that was decent at everything. Didn't have great speed or it was good at everything, but not great at anything, and it was a lot easier to handle. Whereas Formula Fusion, it seems like they start you off with much heavier crafts, and it's a little bit more tricky to get to.
Yeah, that's one thing that stood out. I mean, I played it a year ago, and that's the one thing that stood out to me. The handling, the craft were very, very heavy to handle. At least the ones that were available in the early access. It takes a lot of practice to, as you saw in the video, like make it have a clean race without actually going into the wall at all.
There seems to be less rigid now, but it does still.
They have fine-tuned it a bit,
yeah. It still strikes me as a game that's really pretty tough. Like,
I think content-wise, it is at least justifying its price a bit more now. I think a lot of people were complaining before. I mean, it's about $14.99, something like that. I think.
Yeah, they've added some single-player, multiplayer stuff. So.
Yeah,
it's building up.
It was a bit bare bones for quite a long time, and now suddenly they've come out with this massive update all in one go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'll have to try and get onto that myself, but no, looking good. Although Redoubt's going to beat it to it though.
Ah, okay.
I mean, as we know, Formula Fusion was delayed till next year.
Yeah.
whereas Redout is, as far as we know, still on track for a September release.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about that because I'm a little bit fearful for that. We haven't seen enough of it.
I know
It's 2 months away. You know, it's not long. So give me something to bite on. You know.
that's why I said as far as we know, it's on track for September.
Yeah.
There's only about 2 or 3 videos, if that, in about 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. I guess they are small studios, but still.
Yeah. Whenever it's that sporadic, it does sort of give you reason to be concerned.
Yeah, that's it though. It's taken. We've had to leave it to indie developers to make these sorts of games now, since Wipeout is just in limbo.
Yeah, it's very, very sad.
Which is a shame.
It's the same with F-Zero as well, you know.
Yeah, well, I guess though with F-Zero you do have Fast Racing Neo, which
yes,
is about to get a physical release.
Yeah, surprising actually. This is a new program that Nintendo are bringing in. So
actually make Wii U games affordable because they're too expensive.
Yes. So it's called the eShop Selects, and basically Fast Racing Neo along with the Steam World Collection are the first 2 titles to actually go on this eShop Selects program, if you like. So you know, it's interesting. I believe it was such a well-developed game, Fast Racing Neo. So you know, they achieved incredible things with that visually, and the frame rate solid. You know, I think it really does deserve a physical release.
Yeah, I hope I can finally play it.
Yeah, it would be nice. Comes out September 30.
September 30, yeah.
So not an awful long, and it features the upcoming Neo Future Pack DLC.
Oh, there is new content for it, although.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming in the future. Not sure when, but we'll keep an eye on that and obviously update you guys on the website.
It's interesting they're still supporting it. I mean, that came out a fair while ago, I believe. Fast Racing Neo, about December time last year.
That's right, yeah. And we was waiting a long time because initially they said they was going to release an update for it early 2016, and I think they only released it about a month ago or so. So, you know, they're very much behind. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this Future Pack DLC is all about.
Yeah, I said at least there is another racing game to play on Wii U now that isn't Mario Kart.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good one as well, isn't it? Fast Racing Neo. It has its own sort of niche, like this little gameplay mechanics to make it sort of separate itself from the sort of Wipeout titles.
It's basically the Wii U's answer to F-Zero.
Yeah.
That's a franchise I never really got the chance to get into, unfortunately.
Yeah, F-Zero. I mean, I think I only played the original F-Zero. Yeah, all that time ago. But I was very much more of a fan of Super Mario Kart back then. So F-Zero took a second sort of seat to.
It's quite notorious for its difficulty.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, to round off that, I guess there was another Wii U title released, a very indie title called Hot Rod Racer.
Yeah, very basic, isn't it?
Very basic. Yeah, I mean, if you look on the side, I mean that is a game that's pushing the Wii U to its limits, frankly.
Yeah. So it's basically like you say, top-down racer. What do you do? I think you just. I think it's one of those infinity races, isn't it? Where you just drive along, go as far as you can. You've got your score on the top right of the screen, and away you go. Very sort of mobile-esque, isn't it? Very.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of suits the console in a way because you have the, the screen on the controller that you can play it on, so it would suit that.
Yeah, and it only costs £2.69, so you have to bear that in mind as well. So,
like I say, the Wii U is excellent for that. Just buying like retro titles and playing them on the controller.
Yeah, because I think the days are numbered, aren't they, for the sort of handhelds? So it's sad to see if they do disappear, because the mobile gaming, of course, taking over. But
we have got some rumors about the new Nintendo NX, though, that it's going to be a portable console that you can also play at home
and cartridge based as well. So
yeah, I was surprised about that.
Have you ever blown on a cartridge before?
Sorry. Oh yes.
Yeah, you've had that pleasure. Yeah. So
yeah,
it'll be strange after all these years coming back, and blowing these cartridges again to get them to work. So yeah. I'm so surprised at that. I mean, I don't know what they can actually contain on the cartridge these days, but yeah, looking forward to seeing what
nostalgia.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what they can push out of a cartridge. Amazing.
Yeah, be interesting. Right, I mean, any more news at all? Is that it?
There is a couple of bits. We've had the 4th Porsche car revealed for Assetto Corsa.
Yeah.
Very teasery shot once more of the
very milestone-esque almost. Like, look at our model, car model.
Yeah, and they just show like a headlight or something. But we believe it's the Porsche 911 Carrera RSR from 1974. So, you know, we've had quite a few retro Porsches already revealed.
Yep.
We've got 2 Porsche car packs coming up, which, you know, it has retro and modern Porsches. So something there for everyone. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that. We'll update the website every time they reveal a new car. But it's shaping up nicely. Elsewhere,
to go either. I mean, it's
that's right. We
about
have
a month away now.
August the 26th. So yeah, we're looking at about 4 weeks, 4 and a bit weeks.
Unless
and I'll tell you what,
unless they delay it again.
No, I don't believe they're going to delay it.
No,
I think they've started the PR push now, haven't they? So
they'll be going gold any minute.
Yeah, everything seems to be in place, and to me, that could well be my game of the year. That could overtake Dirt Rally.
I think so. Yeah, I've got very high hopes for that one.
Yeah,
I mean, that is the sim race that the consoles have needed, I think, since Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I mean, this is
you need.
Yeah, I think this is going to be some pretty serious kit.
As a thoroughbred driving simulator, it ticks all the boxes, frankly.
Yeah.
I guess you could say we have Project Cars, but I think that to me is more of almost like a racing simulator, like a motor. You know, all the different classes of motorsport. Whereas Assetto Corsa focuses more on their road cars.
Yeah, and
I differentiates it a little bit.
I prefer the road cars because you know, growing up with Gran Turismo, you know, I mean, race cars are great. Don't get me wrong, but I think road cars in general have more personality, and you can relate to them more, of course.
Yeah, I think Project Cars changed the genre in a way, though, because obviously to find a hardcore racing simulator that focused on motorsport like that, you had to go on PC games, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, Project Cars was very important to come to the consoles.
I think so. It really paved the way, I think, for racing simulators on the console at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Assetto Corsa is regarded extremely highly, like almost #1 spot for racing sim. So this is pretty much as hardcore as it gets, and you know, to see it on the consoles is fantastic, basically. And I hope it does well, because if it does well, we're going to see more in the future, and that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I need to make a point of that. I think every podcast, buy Assetto Corsa if you want the sim racing genre to survive.
Yes,
on
please. Just rounding off the very last thing, Rocket League.
Oh yes,
they were talking about having a PlayStation 4 / Xbox One crossplay.
Not surprised.
It's actually ready, and it's just waiting on Sony's approval. So at the moment, you know, Rocket League has PC and PS4 crossplay. Everyone plays together. There's no sort of separation. I would like to see separation. I'd love to see, you know, if they can bring the PS4, Xbox One crossplay in, you know, have a playlist, PS4 owners versus Xbox One owners, you know, and, you know, it'd be incredibly popular, get people playing the game, you know, and maybe have some sort of score system. Maybe you can break it down into regions, you know, who's winning this week. Is it the PS4 owners? Is it the Xbox One? You know, you could really play on that and get lots of people into Rocket League. Not that there ain't a lot already, of course, but you know, I'd love to see.
You can tell you spent many hours on that game.
Oh, it's one of those games. Oh, you know, just one more go turns into 10 more goes.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's because the games are so short. You just think, 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm not as, I don't put as many hours in as I used to, but let's just say I was pretty much addicted to Rocket League. You know, soon after release. And not many people knew about it. I mean, we was covering Rocket League on the site, and you know, long before its release, and you know, people weren't talking about it. They weren't excited by it. But once it came out on the PS Plus, you know, it was just a phenomenon, basically. Yeah,
it was certainly one of the best gems of last year, really. And of course, they've re-released it this year as well with the physical copies.
Yeah.
So the collector's edition this year, which did rather well in the charts.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I think it got a top 5 position in the UK.
It just shows. I mean, who hasn't played that game yet?
Well, people like it so much they probably bought the physical copy as well.
Sort of thing I'd do.
Yeah, oh, there you go. People like you, that's who haven't played it.
No, fair. I think it's just because it had been out on the Xbox One quite as long.
Yeah.
Oh, there is actually news story you've missed, Kevin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Details of Farming Simulator 17's new mission system has been revealed.
Well, I was holding that back till last because it is a massive development. Do you really want me to go through this? I'm happy to do so.
See how long it lasts.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So basically, they got this a new mission system in Farming Simulator 17. So
before
that's all
we have time for. Sorry.
Oh, okay. We'll leave it there. I'm sure that people were really hanging on for this. Maybe next week we can throw it in there.
Yeah, we'll lead on from that on the next one. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's it from us, I think. So thanks again for listening. Do like and subscribe, and
Yes.
do our competitions as well. So yeah, that's it. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.
And hopefully with Alan next time.
Yes, hopefully Alan might join us and tear himself away from Pokemon Go for a bit. But yeah, that's it then. See you next time.